Hello! Oh my gosh, it's been so freaking long since I have done a video. Literally over a year. Wow, that's kind of insane. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, all my lovely people who care enough to watch this video. Wow, this feels so weird, honestly. It's been so long since I've actually sat down and been in front of my camera to film literally anything. So that's super bizarre for me right now. But thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you've seen my Instagram stories at all the past couple of weeks, days, I don't know, then you'll probably have a bit of an inkling as to what some of this video is going to be about. But I'm very excited to be sitting here and doing this. It's been so long and I really miss doing these videos. They take so much time and effort. They really do, but I love doing them and it's been so long. So I'm very excited to get back into doing this. So we're just gonna get right into it. First thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going in with the Anastasia Brow Freeze. I actually am kind of obsessed with this. I prefer more of a fluffy brow recently, so I'm just going to take the spoolie that this is supposed to go with. And I need a mirror. I haven't done this in so long. I feel so discombobulated right now. That's a big word for Elmo. Oh god. Thank you, TikTok, for all of your joy that you bring me. So I'm just gonna be pushing my brow hairs up and making them kind of as fluffy as possible. I used to detest the way that people used to do this. Like, I literally hated it so much. I was like, you look like a bird and it doesn't look good. But I've found that this looks better and actually a bit more natural than if I was to do a normal brow look. Normal being like kind of like the 2018 style of brow. So going in with the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in 3.5. Okay, so to start off with, can we all collectively agree that 2021 as a year just kind of sucked? I feel like 2021, we all hoped it was gonna be better, obviously, than 2020 was. But the problem is that we were all dealing with the after effects of 2020 and everything that was coming in as a result of that, and that sucked so much, at least for me. I don't know, I can't speak for anybody else, but I like to think that collectively we all just wanted to not deal with anything anymore. So that being said, let's go into all of that fun stuff. So if you watched my Instagram story, you know I talked a little bit about me suffering from anxiety and depression for like the first time in my entire life, which was a lot to say the least. But 2021 was the year of, I think, everyone kind of learning how important mental health is. Physical health, I think we have always all known is important, but no one ever really openly talked about how important mental health also is. And I feel like the reason nobody really talked about it was because it wasn't really as important of a focus with everything else that was going on. And then with the pandemic, everybody was like, oh shoot, like that's actually like really, really important. And that is when things actually started to be talked about more. So I also would like to give us all a round of applause for openly realizing, like I think a lot of people, including myself, have realized that like, hey, it's not a bad thing to talk about mental health, especially because it's so important to understand what's going on in your mind, because it's so easy to walk around and not act like anything is bothering you. It's so easy. Everybody's like, oh, fake it till you make it. And it's like, yes, and usually faking it means that like you're faking it until you feel better because you're faking it, you know what I mean? And that's just not easy to do all the time. And it's, you know, I'll be really honest, like that's really, really difficult to do when you feel like there's such inner turmoil going on. It's so hard. And the worst part is that you don't even know how to explain it properly to people, and you expect that even if you did, they really wouldn't get it anyway. So I feel everybody who has felt like that, in the last couple years especially. And I feel like the one thing that's come out of this that's good is that we all kind of recognize like, hey, we do all deal with this stuff and it freaking sucks, but it's so important to recognize that like we all experience burnout, we all experience anxiety of some sort and like nervousness, and especially can I please give a round of applause to everybody in their 20s right now. I know that this is not the only group that's experiencing this, but because I'm in my 20s and I'm going through it, I want to acknowledge those people specifically. If you are in your 20s and you're still, oh hello, this is how my life is right now, it's a hot mess. If you're in your 20s and you are struggling, one, hi, same, hello, let's be friends. But it's been so much, and I remember like one of the things that I saw somewhere on social media, I don't freaking know, was everybody got the question, where do you think you're gonna be in 5 years? So completely wrong. So wrong. And no one expected a global pandemic to come in and just completely tilt our world on its axis, and you know, like, that's a lot to deal with. I'm literally only on one brow and I'm still talking. Oh my god, okay. We need to speed up the process a little bit here, Ash. Okay, so I think our brows are done. This is definitely more of a fluffy brow, but I actually really like the way that this looks. For whatever reason, I feel like this looks a lot more natural, even though it's probably the complete opposite of that, but it's fine, doesn't matter. Okay, moving on to the eyes. So I have been more so recently, I've been using the Urban Decay Original Eyeshadow Primer Potion. It's just a lot easier to use, honestly, and I got really tired of like, I love the P. Louise base, but tapping on this pigment constantly, and then it's just a lot of work. And I have also gotten much lazier with my makeup. I know some of you might be very shocked to hear that, but yeah, no. 2021 was the year of me discovering skincare. Now I'm gonna go in with the Morphe Madison Beer palette. I actually really like this. I know everybody's like always used to me doing like really bright looks, but I've been super into the neutrals lately, so that's what we're gonna do. And also these are the colors that pretty much every girl naturally reaches for anyway, so it's fine. I think I'm gonna go in with this mauve shade right here. Hold on. Camera focus. Right there. So I'm gonna do that one and just focus this on the outer corner for the moment. In any event, yeah, 2021 sucked, and I definitely had to learn a lot about my mental health. I did what I think a lot of people have learned to do recently, and I started going to therapy. And no, I'm not trying to overshare my life. I'm just trying to get people to understand that these things are okay to talk about. Which, by the way, I would just like to emphasize, there is no shame in being like, hey, I probably need therapy, because for the most part, it's not even because you have like necessarily a bunch of trauma to work with or to work through. It's more so that just like, sometimes it's just nice to have a third-party person that you don't know help you talk through something. Like, sometimes you just need that. So to spit that little bit of info in there. So I struggled massively last year. Like, I had absolutely no idea that the pandemic was going to affect me as much as it did, which is why I want to address all the 20-somethings who are going through trying to figure out jobs, or if they want to go back to school, or if you're like me and you had a job and then you were like, I don't even know why I want to do this anymore, and now you're like, I don't even know what I like. So I feel that. It sucks. It's really annoying, especially because at this point in your life, like, everybody just kind of assumed that we were all going to be like on the track that we were going to be on for like our careers, and no one ever really mentions that it's possible that it doesn't work that way. Like, literally no one ever talks about that. Our entire lives we're all trained like, yeah, you go to school, you graduate high school, you'll probably go to college unless you do some kind of trade, and then you graduate, and then you get married and you have a family, and it happens in that order. And if it doesn't happen in that order, or you're not liking what you're doing, or this path doesn't exactly seem clear to you, no one ever tells you like, hey, by the way, that's cool if that's what you want to do. Nobody ever freaking says that. And that kind of drove me nuts because I feel like that has been ingrained in me growing up as like, yeah, this is what you do. And obviously it sounds like it makes sense, right? But then you go and you do things and you're like, I don't really know that I like this very much, you know? And that's really frustrating because then you're like, is something wrong with me? Am I doing something wrong? Like, is there something I'm missing, something I'm not doing? And then it just causes a lot of self-doubt and more anxiety, which doesn't help because you're already anxious about everything else that's already going on. So yeah, just a shout out to my 20-somethings who are just kind of trying to survive this right now, because I feel you. That's exactly where I am. I just want to acknowledge that. And also shout out to literally every single person who has been in any kind of schooling, whether that's college or high school or whatever it was, and doing it through Zoom, because I was super, super lucky that I graduated in 2019 and I didn't really have to deal with any of the Zoom classes. Like, I've done stuff on Zoom, obviously, I think we all have at this point, but I've never done like school classes through Zoom. So if you have done that, shout out to you, because it's hard enough trying to be focused on what you're being taught, let alone the fact that you're thinking of how you're sitting at home, you're not with the people that you should be in a classroom with, you're not getting that like social environment. Like, there's so many other things that come with actually going to school that you don't really realize that you need until you're only doing it online. So mad props to every single person doing that right now. Also, I have just spread this shadow a little bit more into my crease. I'm kind of adding a little bit more of it to my outer corner just because I want a bit more dimension over here. I feel like I should actually talk about makeup while I'm doing it. Might make sense. So yeah, that was definitely something that I struggle with massively. And the hardest thing, which I am going to talk more about this now, so like if you don't like to listen to it, you don't have to keep watching, that's totally fine, I get it. But one of the things that I realized was a part of my big struggles was that with my faith, I strayed so far. Well, I shouldn't say so far. I strayed as far as I have ever strayed. And in terms of like leaning away from God. And I'm not trying to like preach at anybody or anything. I'm just sharing my experience. So like that's all this is. But I strayed a lot because I felt like I was like, you know what? I really want to be in control right now. Like, I want everything to be going my way. And this is the way that I'm gonna get it to do that. And I'm just gonna see how that goes, because I just had this really strong desire to just want to know everything. Like, I wanted to be in control. And that was the worst decision I probably could have ever made, because that led to a lot of my anxiety and depression on top of all the stuff dealing with the pandemic, which I think dealing with the pandemic made me want to be more in control, which is what led me to make the other decisions that I made. And so that was really, really a not good idea, because all I did was add more fuel to the fire. That's really all it was. And don't get me wrong, 2021 did lead me to some things that I think were very good for me to do because I needed to do it to grow as a person, but I definitely struggled a lot. Like, more than I ever thought I was even capable of dealing with. So yeah, it was not my finest hour. So I've gone in with this shade, and I don't want to make this too dark, but I kind of want to add just a little bit more dimension in the outer corner. So I think I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. Where are we at? I'm trying to remember how I do this. It's been so long. I'm gonna go in with that shade. Okay, and also the brush that I just used was the Morphe M506 brush. I really like this one. Hold on, let me. Definitely nice to blend with and not super like poofy, so you can actually get in there and like do what you need to do. And this is just another one of those brushes, but I get multiple so that I can actually do what I need to do and not clean every brush every 5 seconds. So I'm just gonna go in a little bit with this on the inner or outer corner. And I'm literally just patting this on and like doing super, super, super small circles to blend that out a little bit. Going back to the brush I just cleaned to blend this out a little bit more. So continuing on, so I definitely strayed pretty far from what I am accustomed to. And I'm not trying to say that like whatever I did makes me a bad person, because if you have ever been on a path where you've strayed, you're not a bad person. I want to emphasize that, because one of the biggest things that I've suffered from is like the guilt and the shame from the things that I started to lean into, and you're not a bad person, okay? You're a human being. Everybody does stuff that messes them up at some point in their life. We're human, we do it. So please don't make yourself feel like you are a bad person for what you did, because at the end of the day, it was something that you learned from, and that's all that matters. Anyway, I struggled a lot with that, and it was something that I've had kind of a hard time feeling like I've even improved from. Even though I don't like do it anymore, I still feel like it's kind of a shadow that kind of like chases me a little bit, and I have to remind myself like, hey, that's not me, that's not who I am, and who I am is who God says I am. And when I talk about my faith, I definitely am more open about it now than I ever used to be, which is more so just because I leaned into my faith when I was having a really hard time. Because growing up, my parents were always like, hey, like if you ever are going through a hard time, like you can lean on this. This is something that will never leave you, no matter what you feel, because your feelings are not reliable. That's one of the biggest things I've learned, and I wished that I knew at the beginning of all this, is that our feelings change, and relying on our emotions is never a good idea in terms of, like, there's things that you allow yourself to feel and recognize that you feel a certain way for a reason, but then it's like making really, really, really big decisions off of an emotion that is fleeting is dangerous. And that's why I've been turning to God with everything that I felt. I'm like, okay, like I feel this way, I'm gonna give this to you so that you can either, you know, validate this or be like, nah, you're like just worried about something for no reason, kind of a thing. Obviously we all have brains, we're all capable of making our own decisions, but what I have learned is making decisions based off of those really like stressful feelings is not helpful, and it honestly has never really done me any good. So as I talk, going into, oh gosh, which one? I'm gonna go into this shade right here, little pink shimmery shade. And this is the Morphe M124 brush. So it's a little flat packing brush. So I'm just gonna apply this all over my lid. Oh, that's really pretty. I haven't used this shade yet, and I actually really like it. Ooh, wow, hello. Okay, so now I'm gonna go and do my false lashes for this eye, and then I'm gonna do the other eye off camera, and then we're gonna come back and do the face. So I'm gonna try really hard to make this video not be like 45 minutes, but I talk so much and it's so hard because I want to get everything in there. Okay, so also I'm gonna be using the Line and Lash, what the heck style is this? I don't even know. I got this from work. So these are the Eylure, hold on, hello? What is happening? Okay, these are the Eylure lashes. So I'm gonna be using these, and I would think that there would actually be a style name for these, but I don't think there is. It just says Line and Lash, so there's that. Also, I literally never, ever, ever use the lash glue that comes with this stuff. I always use the Duo Lash Glue or the Kiss Lash Glue. That stuff is amazing. Those are the only two lash glues I've ever used that I've actually liked. I have used the Glamnetic lashes before, and the liner that comes with that is pretty good. It's obviously designed to go with it, so you kind of have to use it. But anyway, so I need to trim these, make sure they fit my eyeball. Also, please trim your eyelashes. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that, but please do that because that could be a reason why they're not staying on you. I need my little applicator. I always forget about these things until I actually go to have to use them, and then it's a problem. Oh, these actually fit like pretty freaking well. I don't think I actually have to trim these. Wow, that's a first. So the way that I actually really like to apply my falsies more recently is putting this on, like putting on the lash glue, like if you could freaking see it, like eyeliner, rather than putting it on the lash and then putting it on. I don't know why, I just feel like it works better for me. And then I'm just gonna set this down as close to my lash line as humanly possible. Hey, that one actually went pretty well. I haven't applied eyelashes in so long, you guys. Okay, so now that I have that lash on, I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of mascara and blend in my natural lashes with it. And you don't need to do too much of this either, which by the way, this is the Maneater mascara. I posted about this on my Instagram story the other day, and I'm freaking obsessed with this mascara. This and the Tarte Lash Paint, I don't know if you have to get it at Sephora now or if you have to order it online, but I'm pretty sure Ulta doesn't sell it anymore. RIP, because I loved that freaking mascara. But what are you gonna do? Also, Tarte, can you get your shit together? Because I am so tired of having to explain to people that you sell certain things in Ulta and then you sell certain things in Sephora and then you sell certain things only online and you also sell things through QVC. I don't know what to do with you. I know I've been going, this is a very different kind of video for me, but I'm hoping that it's going to be somewhat well received. Going back to what I was talking about, part of me straying from my faith and then dealing with anxiety and depression is very much linked together. So it was anxiety and depression from the pandemic and having zero clue how to handle that for myself. Anxiety and depression from the things that I was leaning into, and I even felt in my gut like something was kind of off with it, but I ignored it because I wanted to do it anyway. And I'm sure we've all done that at some point where we felt like inherently like something was off about something we were doing, but we just did not care. That's kind of what it was like for me, and I did not like that feeling. It was not fun, and that was part of the reason actually why I started to get more into like reading my Bible and stuff, and I was doing it partially because I was trying to make myself feel less guilty, but I was still reading it, and that was, I think, where God was like, you might be not doing this the right way, but I'm gonna lead you to the right way, and then you're gonna figure out why I did that. And I have. And honestly, I feel like the reason I went through so much of everything that I went through last year was because God was like, hey, I'm gonna bring you back to me. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna really suck for a while. And also, I would just like to point out, this could go so many different ways, so I really hope I can just get the words right. If you feel you're going through a really like refinement period, I guess, in your life, in your faith and stuff, it can last a really long time. And that sucks. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And I haven't even been going through like a really long period compared to some other people that I've been like following and trying to keep up with, like what's going on with them. Cause like their situations have just helped me feel better about like anything in general. And so I'm like, wow, like I could be going through this for a really long time. And I think that's what scared me the most, was I was like, I don't want to be unhappy for this long. Like, cause the way that I was feeling with everything that was going on in my life was literally like, I got to the point, you guys, where I had to come back to my faith and things still hurt so bad. And I literally would be kneeling in front of my bed before I went to sleep at night, and I would be, it feels like your insides are being shredded apart. Like, it just hurt so freaking badly, and it was the worst because it was this inside pain that like I couldn't fix. I was like, I can't do anything. And that was the worst part, because if you know me, you know that I can be very much a control freak, and that was so hard for me because I was like, I literally do not even know what to do in this situation because there's so many things going on in my mind that are making me feel a certain way, and I can't make it not happen. Like, I can't do that. I physically have no way of doing it, and it hurts so much. And I remember feeling like literal physical pain from so many things. Like, one, it was my circumstances that I had kind of like dug my own grave with that, and that made me hurt, and then I had to lean more on God to help me get through that, and then leaning on my faith was the only thing that even brought me peace at any situation at any given time. Like, praying and reading my Bible, journaling, like literally any of it, like that was the only thing that brought me peace. And it sucks when you can't even explain that to someone, because you want to talk about something to someone. Like, everybody always says like, yeah, if you're feeling something, reach out. And then you're like, I don't even know how. And then that makes you feel worse. And it's just like one thing after another. And you're like, oh my God, I'm literally gonna explode because my brain can't handle all of this. And so something that I have since learned from that is that if you hit rock bottom in that emotional and mental way, sometimes I feel like people have to go through something to hit that point to realize that God is the rock at the bottom. And that was actually a hope word thing in my Bible. I have a certain study Bible that shows like hope words from time to time. That's not necessarily like scripture, but it's a little like note. And that was one of the things that I had seen, and I really resonated with that. And again, I'm not trying to be preachy or anything or like overshare or just like talk incessantly when you're like, girl, do your freaking makeup. But that's what this video is for. This video is for the people who have experienced anxiety and depression like nothing else in your life has helped you. And I have to tell you, like, if nothing else is giving you peace, you can always turn to God, because He is the one good, constant, never changing thing. And that has literally saved me in so many ways from this past year. And it's hard, I'm not gonna lie. There's things that I'm currently dealing with that I struggle with a lot. And the funny thing is that people look at you and like when you're in a nice outfit and you have your makeup done, you look like you have it all together. And you have zero concept of the storm that's going on inside of someone. And that I think is freaking wild, honestly. Especially being a person that's dealt with that. Like, I never would have thought about that. Now I do, and it's kind of weird. But I just have to talk about this, because even if like 2 people watch this video, that could be 2 people that you needed to see this. And if you're looking for a sign to lean into God, whatever way that is for you, I want to tell you that this is your sign. This is God talking to you, telling you He can do everything that you cannot. And even though that's very difficult for us to understand or even try to comprehend, I still can't really comprehend it. The whole point is that He just wants to get to know you. He wants you to know you can rely on Him. So if that's the one message that anybody takes away from this video, then let it be that. But it's just something I really need to talk about, because I feel like somebody somewhere just needs to hear that and know that you're not alone. Like, seriously, I don't think I could emphasize that enough. There are so many times where like the hardest part for me was because I felt so alone. And most of it wasn't even because like I didn't think I could talk to people. It was because I felt like the personal situations that I was dealing with, I literally felt like if I tried to explain it to anybody, they would laugh me out of their lives and be like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, this is what you're worried about? And it's like, you don't understand. Like, there's a reason that things bother people to a certain extent, and you can't, you know, you might look at it one way because you're like, dude, really? Like, that's not a big deal. But like, to them, it's like, you don't understand. And that, I think, is the hardest part, because you want to talk to people, you want to reach out, and you want your friends to know and your family to know that like you care enough to tell them that you're struggling with something, but then they look at you like, why are you even worried about that? And it's like, this is the reaction that you didn't want to have, was being like, I don't even know how to explain it to you. The point is that I'm telling you, because everybody's like, tell me, and it's like, okay, I'm telling you, but like, just listen. That's all they're asking for, honestly. But I'm sorry, I don't want this to be a long video, but I'm really trying. So, okay, I'm going to do my other eye off camera, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do the face and we'll go from there. Okay, and we're back. So we're gonna start going into the face makeup now. So I usually would use the Urban Decay Gripping Primer. I freaking love that thing, but I have literally gone through all of it to the point where like the tube is like squeezed dry. There's nothing left. So I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. I actually just recently started using this again, and I really like it, actually. It has a bit of a consistency that is almost like putting on a thick moisturizer, but I actually really like it, and it really makes your makeup stay for a long time. So if you're oily like me, definitely recommend this. I really like it. I haven't really looked into a lot of primers recently, so this is just one I've had for a long time, but I really do like the way it looks. Obviously you can see it has a little bit of like kind of a white cast, almost like a sunscreen does, but the more you press it into your skin, the better it gets. So definitely recommend this. Okay, and then we're gonna go in with, this is actually a newer product from Tarte. This is the Shape Tape Cloud Coverage. It also has SPF 15. It's actually, I believe, meant to be used like for the purposes of a sunscreen, but I've been using it as foundation because it has pretty decent coverage. This also has titanium dioxide in it, which is a much better ingredient for you in the environment as well in terms of sunscreen. Like your standard like Walmart stuff, not good for you or for the environment. So that's very important to know. But anyway, so I'm gonna go in with this and I'm just going to, oh wait, I lied. I got ahead of myself, you guys, I'm sorry. So what I'm actually gonna do first is I'm gonna go in with the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. This is in the shade C4. I'm gonna go in with this little thing right here and just do a little bit of concealing under the eyes and on the high points of my face. So I'm gonna go in and do that. So right under here, and then I'm gonna do right here. You really don't need a lot of concealer. This is one of the things that I have learned more so recently. You don't need to put on like that triangle shape of concealer to get the coverage that you want or the shape, like the lifted shape you want. You just need a little bit and then blend it up. Wow, that difference is real. Oh my goodness. Really nice concealer though. I really like Makeup Revolution products, especially as far as like drugstore stuff is concerned. Makeup Revolution, really good. So then I'm gonna go in and do my other eye. And then I'm gonna go in with a little bit on my nose, my forehead, and my chin. And by the way, the sponge that I am using is from e.l.f. I've actually been using this sponge more than I've been using beauty blenders in a long time. So, and e.l.f. is super affordable, which we love that when it doesn't break the bank. Also, one of the most frustrating things that I've experienced from this stupid pandemic is the maskne. I was so frustrated. I had the clearest skin before 2020. It's getting better now, but even still, so annoying. And because this is the only cream bronzer that I currently own, I'm gonna be going in with the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer in Macchiato. And I'm just gonna go in with my sponge and put a little bit of it, dip it in here. And then, this has an ear, so I'll just use this. And then put it where I need to. Also, if any of you have really good like cream contour or like bronzer recommendations, please let me know, because as much as everybody like raves about Fenty Beauty, honestly, I think it's a little overhyped. I do like that she has such an extensive shade range though. That is definitely, can we talk about that for a minute? Like, can the drugstore brands get their shit together and like actually get a decent amount of a shade range? I know you're a drugstore brand, but I know you're capable. So like, let's figure it out. Come on. I know it's not difficult. I mean, it's difficult, but it's like, we've done it thus far, so I think it's okay if you try to go for it again. So I'm just putting this where I would normally put any bronzer or contour product. I need those clips that you like pull your hair back while you're doing your makeup that all the TikTokers have. I'm sure I have something that would work, but I'm also extremely lazy, so the noses I feel like really difficult to get, and I feel like I'd be better off with a brush, but I don't even know what brush I would use. I have so many. What a problem, Ashley. So also, one of the things that I really wanted to talk about was the fact that this pandemic, I feel like, has made so many people, not just like people my age, but so many people kind of reevaluate what they actually enjoy doing in terms of like career stuff. And one, props to everybody who has quit their job and tried to find something that they actually care about, because especially right now it's a little hard. But also like, that was very much me, like this past year. Like I had been trying so hard to get into what I went to school for, and then I finally got an opportunity, which was great, and I did enjoy it, but oh my gosh, working from home makes me want to die. It is like, I hate it so much, and I think a lot of people liked it to a point because they didn't have to deal with like a commute and traffic, which I obviously very much understand. but also like I'm a social creature. I need to have interaction with people, and not being able to have that was so difficult. And especially when it's like, it wasn't like my position was one where like I had a bunch of Zoom calls or like meetings that where I would be talking to people anyway, and I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I really do not like doing this. And to be quite honest, like, I've never been a person where like growing up I was like, ooh, a 9 to 5, that sounds amazing. Like, I've never I've never been that person. Not like jabbing anybody who is into that, because it's obviously the more stable options for anything in general, but I've just never been that person, which sucks because that's what, like, you know, the most, like, some of the better opportunities can come from. But what that has made me realize since then is that I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm gonna have to deal with the career change right now too, and like, I don't even know what that's gonna look like. So that's been really frustrating, because trying to have like a sense of direction when you've been trying to pursue one particular thing for so long, and then you finally get an opportunity and then you're like, really? Like, this is it? Like, why did I feel like this was gonna be so much bigger than it was? And I thoroughly enjoyed like the people that I worked with and the company that I worked for. So it wasn't even that was the problem. It was the more just like, I felt like I wasn't really doing anything that was important, and I was constantly glued to my laptop. And so like, especially for me, like, one, I don't like staring at a screen all day, and there's obviously a level of that that's going to come with a lot of jobs right now because everything's remote, but it still sucked. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do now? Because this is the only thing I've been trying to pursue, and even though the main points of it are stuff that I'm still interested in, i.e. like makeup and all that, obviously, but it's like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do from here. So that's been frustrating as hell. So if you are a person that has been in the middle of a career change in any way, I feel you. It sucks. It's so hard. Now I'm going in with the Tarte Shape Tape stuff. It's hard. It's really difficult, and it's frustrating too, because people are like, oh, what are you doing, or what do you want to do? And you're like, I don't even know how to answer your question. Like, I wish, like, if I knew, I would probably be in a much better position right now, but I don't. And I feel like that's something else that I've like taken to God, and I've been like, hey, I've always felt like maybe this is a direction I could go in, but I also want to make sure that I'm not just following something that I want for like myself. Like, I want to be following what you want for me, and, you know, I want to live my life for him. So I was like, you know, obviously I want to do things that I like, and he's going to put those desires on my heart, and he's not going to put anything on my heart that I'm going to like hate doing. But it's frustrating, especially in this time period, because it's like, I don't even know what's up and what's down right now, and that can be extremely overwhelming in and of itself. At the end of the day, like, I know I'm gonna find it, but it's frustrating. So I just want to give everybody a little shout out if you're struggling with that right now, that I feel you, and it is a ginormous pain in the ass, but we're gonna find it. It's all gonna be fine. It's easy to say that, but we're gonna be fine. Long story short, very obviously, long story short, things didn't go the way that we thought that they would, especially the last couple of years, and that has led to so many people realizing how significant their mental health is, how significant it is that they actually enjoy themselves and are living their lives more than just like living to make a living. Anyway, I feel like I'm just constantly on a life rant right now, but it's fine. I haven't been on here for a year, guys. Like, we knew I was gonna have stuff to say. I have a feeling this is gonna be a long video. I'm sorry, you guys. I literally am not capable of not talking every 5 seconds. So this is the Sigma, hello? Soft Angle Contour Brush. This is the F23 brush. I just recently bought this brush because I needed a new contour bronzing brush. I'm freaking obsessed with this thing. It's so good. I love it so much. And I 100% recommend anybody who wants to get a new bronzing brush, or if you need one in general, get this one. So I'm just gonna go in where I placed my cream contour. I will work on not talking so much, but there's so much stuff that's happened while I've been gone that I just really needed to address, and it's so hard to not make that be like a super long rant, so I'm sorry, but this is where we're at. Okay, so gone in with the bronzer. Now I'm gonna go in with my blush. This is actually a blush from a pretty indie company. It's called Phase Zero, and I am obsessed with it because it's so freaking pretty and decently pigmented too. Like, you don't need a lot of this, but this is what it looks like. It's absolutely stunning. It's this beautiful like coral shade, and it has a little bit of sheen to it, so like if you didn't want to wear highlighter, you really wouldn't have to. Like, do you see that? That's insane. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh, I'm freaking obsessed with it. I understand the stressors that the past couple years have caused a lot of people, and especially if you are going from student to real world, or you're in the middle of a career change, anything like that. Like, it's hard. It is so freaking difficult, and it is stressful, and you're literally just like, I can't tell you how many times I've come to the point where I'm like, Lord, if you want to come back any day now, I'm ready. Like, let's go. Yeah, I want people to know that I am definitely a person where if you need someone that you feel comfortable talking to, I don't care literally what it's about at all. If you feel like you need someone who understands your anxieties, or like even if I might not understand what you're going through, but you just need someone to talk to, my DMs are always open. Please never hesitate to reach out to me. I have always prided myself on being a person that is not judgmental. You know, obviously I might have my own thoughts on whatever it is you're dealing with, but I'm not going to give them to you if you don't want me to. So I just want to extend that invitation to anybody who is struggling with whatever way you're struggling. It's not at all fair for anybody to feel like they have to suffer alone. One of my biggest things is I want people to know that I can be a source of trust for them, and a place that they can go, if they felt like they really needed to. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me if you feel like you need to. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to anybody that I know in the past year that I have reached out to and asked a question to, or anything along those lines. It was in those moments, it's in those moments, you guys, where you talk to somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, like I really just needed someone to talk to about this, and I felt like this would be a good person. And those are the moments that have helped me get through some of the hardest obstacles of just like the inner hardness, you know, like those are the biggest moments. So I want to thank anybody that I have talked to the past year. Like, you guys have no idea how much that genuinely helps, which is why I want to be that kind of a source for somebody else. So anyway, I've been talking so much, I'm sorry. Let's finish going in with the under eyes. So I'm going to take the same brushes that I took to blend my eyeshadow, and I'm just going to go in with the original shade we went into the crease for, and I'm just going to go underneath my lash line. I feel like the lash line is always the hardest for me because I always end up going a little bit further down than I want to. And the people who are able to like get all these different colors like perfectly under their lash line, I'm like, tell me how. Because I don't know. I don't understand how you do it. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go in and get a little bit of color under here. I'm gonna go in with the Thrive Cosmetics Lash Extension Mascara, just because it has a nice wand that doesn't really get in my way. I'm just gonna put a little bit of that on my lower lashes. I remember being in high school and literally not leaving my house if my mascara looked clumpy, and as a result of that, I feel like I caked on so much freaking mascara. But oh well, times have since changed. We are learning, you guys. Eyes are pretty good for the most part. Let's put some shadow on the inner corner and the brow bone. Okay, so I'm going to go in with this really pretty icy shade up here. This thing. I feel like this light is just really not helping me right now. This one right here. And I'm gonna go in the inner corner. Ooh, she's pretty. So now that we've gotten the eyes done, I'm gonna go in. Ooh, I haven't done Miss Jaclyn's highlighter in a while. Why don't we do that? So I'm gonna go in with Jaclyn's loose highlighter in Extra. I haven't used this boy in a long time. I haven't done this in literally the longest time. Doing an actual full face of makeup, oh my god, feels almost foreign to me right now. Also, in general, if anybody has makeup questions, feel free to ask me them. Or if there's something in particular that you guys would like to see me do or try or whatever, let me know. I'm trying to see if I should condense like my Instagram feed to where I only have one Instagram, because I know I have my makeup one and I have my personal one, and I've been starting to put more makeup content on my other one just because it's easier, and it's the one I'm most active on. But let me know what you guys think, because obviously keeping up with two can be difficult, but I also don't want to like unload a bunch of makeup content constantly on my other one either, which I probably wouldn't, but because I definitely don't do it nearly as much as I used to. But in any event, let me know what you guys would like to see from me, if anything, because I would love to know. So we've got all of that covered. Lastly, we're gonna do the lips and then we're done. I have a feeling this is gonna be another 45-minute video. I'm sorry, I'm trying. Okay, so because my eyes are just a little dark, I think I wanna go in and do a really nice, just like natural, cute lip combination. So I'm gonna be going in with the NYX lip pencil in the shade Natural and the NYX Butter Gloss in Fortune Cookie. Such a cute combination. Oh my gosh. Okay. Also, something else that I have been doing a lot the past months, actually a couple of years now, I got back into reading because, I think I mentioned this before, but I got back into reading and I have so many books on my list. I'm in the process of finishing up the last book in the Throne of Glass series, and oh my god, that series is taking me so long to get through. It's literally taken me like 1.5 years, you guys. So long. I'm not a person that can sit down and read like 4 books in a day. Like I need to be able to like, I do it for like an hour and then I'm like, okay, I need to do something else. So, oh my god, it's insane. And then right after that, this entire time I've been waiting to read Harry Potter for the first time. I have not read it yet. I know some people that are, if you read it all, you're gonna like cringe when I say that, but I've seen the movies 10 million times, but I really want to read the books. And getting back into reading has honestly been super helpful for me too in general, because fun fact, reading can expand your attention span, which as a generation I think we all need a little bit. But I've been dying to read it again, or like read it to begin with, and I'm like, I cannot read anything until I get through this series. The only other series that I've read whilst reading Throne of Glass was The Selection, which my girl Ava set me up with. Thank you for that, by the way. That I freaking love those books. I still have to read the last couple ones where it's like her daughter, I think, or something. But anyway, another tangent. I'm just gonna follow my natural lip line with this. But the reason I said that is if any of you have any book recommendations that you want to give to me, let me know. I have a lot of standalone books too that I need to read. But I have been very good about not buying any more new ones until I get through what I need to get through. So props to me, because that's just hard. But if anybody has any recommendations that they think I would really enjoy, I love, I mean, I think everybody kind of tends to lean a little bit towards fantasy if you like to read. So if you have any like fantasy books or like in general, just like stuff that you really liked, let me know, because I would love to look into it. Okay, so we've gone with the lip liner. I'm gonna go in with the gloss. She's cute. This one is a staple gloss. If you don't have this, I 1000% suggest you immediately get up, go to Target, go to Ulta, whatever the hell's closest to you, and get this gloss, because it's gorgeous. Okay, we are officially done. I have chatted your ear off for probably an hour. My future self is probably screaming at me as I edit this. Okay, so anyway, if you've gotten this far, thank you so much for watching this video. It means a lot to me. This is something that I have been feeling very heavily on my heart to talk about, and I really just wanted to make sure that everything that I have, you know, felt that I felt like was worth sharing, it might help somebody out there. So if you're someone who this resonated with, or in general you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd very much appreciate it. If you have not yet subscribed, do whatever you want, honestly. I really just wanted to sit down and make this video. I have no idea how consistently I'm gonna be with making videos, so like I'm not gonna promise anything, but I definitely want to do more of this because it just makes me feel like I'm doing some good. So yeah, but I have to say, like, if I could tell you guys anything, just be kind to each other. Lean on God in the difficult times, and if you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out just to have somebody to talk to. So anyway, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. It means a lot to me, and hopefully I will see you guys in another one coming soon. Don't know what it's gonna be yet, but we're gonna figure it out. So anyway, I love you all, and thank you for watching.